Welcome back to Studio F. We're on Fast Times Willy B. We'll be reviewing Eyes Wide Shut for its 25th anniversary. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russell!
Welcome back to Fast Times Willy B. I'm Willy B. I got Rosie back after a one-day hiatus. Rosie, how we doing?
Pretty good. I'm excited to do this one.
So today we'll be reviewing Eyes Wide Shut. Came out July 16th, 1999. Directed by Stanley Kubrick. Obviously, there's a lot of baggage that comes with this movie as far as conspiracy theories go. And, was Kubrick, picked off by the studios and studio interference after his, death happened 5 days before... or 5 days after the final cut was shown, and Warner Brothers, cutting out things and all of that. But we're not talking about that today. Today we're going to talk about the movie we got, the movie that we both enjoyed, and that's what we're going to talk about.
Let's do it.
We got Tom Cruise. He plays Dr. Bill Harford, and then we got Nicole Kidman, who plays Alice Harford, and Mr. Pollock playing Ziegler. And that's, among other, obviously, supporting characters, the big three in this film as far as cast goes. But we'll hop into the good. And I think what stands out so much in this movie is, just that Kubrick touch. It's a good story that is confusing at times, over 2.5 hours long, but very tense, and you're in. You're captured.
Definitely locked.
Really good pacing, and, he's found this way to make these long movies that don't feel as long as they are.
I definitely did not. I was definitely locked in for the whole time, for sure.
Another thing he does really well is obviously cinematography. He has a great eye behind the camera, and we get it here again. Great set design as well. We're living in New York City, just like we were yesterday with When Harry Met Sally.
Love it.
But this one, more of a nighttime scene. We get him walking on the sidewalks at nighttime in New York City. We get the window shopping type of vibe where you got, rainbows, costumes, and you got different restaurants and different novelty stores, and it's around the Christmas time. Not a lot of snow for Christmas time in New York City, but, he stops in a few coffee shops. The apartments all look cool. The mansion that this Eyes Wide Shut party's at is
stunning. They said it was a house, and I said...
That's not a house.
Not a house.
Yeah. But all of it is just gorgeous, visually stunning.
Definitely.
And it captures along with a great story.
Yeah, I love the story. Very well done. Usually not a mystery gal. So this one was intriguing to me, especially anything over the 2-hour mark.
Yeah.
Is a little exhausting for me, especially a mystery when you have to kind of
put your brain to
remember
work.
things. Yeah, remember things and piece things together and find those little, Easter eggs and little things here and there. I don't know. I just really liked it. It was really different than what we usually watch. But I'm usually down to watch anything.
Yes, another thing that comes along with Kubrick is bringing out the best in acting, even if it's not in the nicest of ways. And obviously, we've all heard the stories of The Shining and other movies he's done, but, we get great performances from Nicholson and Duvall on that one. And here again, I think this is my favorite performance of Cruise. Yeah. And I think Nicole Kidman's awesome as well. She's great in just about everything she's in. Same with Cruise. Cruise is... I like Cruise as an actor, but I think this is my favorite performance of him. And all the supporting characters did a really good job, too. I think the acting was top-notch.
For sure.
And they all were really convincing and, pushing along this story that has a lot of twists and turns, really just a roller coaster, from the way this movie starts and, the sense that, we got this happy couple getting ready for a party, and then after that they get in this little fight where she's trying to make him jealous after they smoke a little bit of pot, and then he goes out on an adventure, and the next 24 hours is a whirlwind with Tom Cruise, and
definitely
every single scene there's just something else that pops up, and it's just another obstacle for him to face, and all of them really convincing, especially Tom Cruise, and the fidgeting, and you can just tell that he looks stressed, and you really can see it. You can feel it.
I think Kidman and Cruise having been married during this movie definitely plays into how well they have with their chemistry.
Yeah.
anytime they're on screen together, it's usually pretty heartfelt.
Yeah.
And very full of tension and a lot of emotion.
For sure.
And I think them having that connection, like, off screen helps with that, because that's something really hard to do, I would assume.
Yeah.
To have connection with someone you don't, have that actual connection with. So I think that they did great with that. All the acting was phenomenal, but very tense movie.
Yeah, the tension's present throughout. Another thing that Kubrick does well. And, this movie, it at times can be really weird and you're lost, but it all at some point comes together and makes sense, and the ending does a really good job. I think the biggest twist of them all is, him getting called over by Ziegler, and, he was at Ziegler's party, so you're like, oh, they're friends, they're just chopping at the bit, he needs something, he needs a favor or something, and no, he's like, I know what you did the last 24 hours, I know where you've been, I know you were at that party, let's cut all the bullshit out, and you're just like, whoa. Like, Ziegler's a part of this.
Definitely.
And, you get confirmed that Mandy was the girl that, sacrificed and ended up passing away, and that they had nothing to do with her passing, that they didn't kill Nick. Nick was sent back to Seattle, and all this stuff, like, that it was all just a charade almost to make him scared, but they were never going to actually do anything. And I think that's just wild to me in the sense that, like, this whole movie, you're following along Tom Cruise for this 24 hours, and he's so stressed out, and he's so, he's fidgety, and like, oh my gosh, when are they coming after me because they threaten to kill my family if I say anything, and somebody's following me, and all of this stuff, and all of it's just like, we were bluffing, like, it's kind of crazy, and, I mean, not to say that it was, that he still can't go out and blab about the organization.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But, that more of it was just, like, faked and staged. Yeah.
I like that we knew exactly, not at the moment we seen him at the Eyes Wide Shut party, but not really a party, but, activity, I suppose. As soon as Ziegler mentioned that he was there, I think we both knew which one he was, the fella up on the balcony that looked down. I didn't know who the guy was behind him. No, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Me neither. But I think maybe if we would do a rewatch, maybe we can find out. Because they both looked down, like, at the same time. Yeah. So I don't know if they got something going on there that we missed, maybe.
Maybe.
But I liked how all the dots were connected during their talk. It's usually what I don't like about mysteries is that you have to put it together as the watcher. But I like that when they had that conversation at Ziegler's house, that them two kind of put all the little pieces together for us. And then I was like, oh. Yeah.
And then it leads into a really good ending. He gets back home and his mask is on his pillow. And
that had to be my favorite part, I think.
He starts crying. He's like, I'm going to tell you everything. And then it just cuts to them teary-eyed, getting ready to take their daughter Christmas shopping, and then you get the finale where they're both still like, I still love you, and what that means we got to do now, and it's like the what they got to do now, but what this whole movie's about, but
definitely,
just a really good ending, very artistic. I love the use of blue in the bedroom at night. I think it's that the color is very prominent, the lighting is very mysterious.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of eerie.
Yeah.
But I think that the nighttime and the color definitely help with the vibe, I guess, of the movie.
Just great cinematography.
For sure. Not a lot happens during the day. Like, he goes to work and sitting at the table. We don't get much outside during the day. Sitting at the table doing homework. But there's really not a whole lot that goes on. Definitely not being truthful, but never really unfaithful, I would say.
Kissing,
there was a few times, but never. Yeah.
Never going into a hooker's house can be considered. I know he didn't do the deed.
He definitely did not, but he definitely thought he was going to a handful of times in this movie. Yeah. Same with her. Yeah. At the beginning, but I liked how it all.
The sexual tension is there too.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, back to what I said at the beginning, like, them having that...
Well, not even just between them. I mean, all around, like, every situation
Everybody.
Tom Cruise gets himself into.
For sure.
There's sexual tension. The only scene that really doesn't is one of my favorite scenes from the movie, and that's the costume store scene when he's going to buy... I guess there's some sexual tension in the sense that, you know, his daughter gets caught with the two Asian men, but... Like, that scene's hilarious, and him, like, you know, trying to give good customer service, but also be a dad that's pissed that, you know, these two men are with his underage daughter, and it was just a really funny scene.
I did like that one a lot.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of this movie is in the good. It's another one of it's the best movie that I've watched so far in this 25th anniversary Wednesday.
For sure.
And another thing I really loved was the score. Very piano heavy.
Yeah.
Very, you know, almost horror, but more on the thriller side, and it just adds to the tension. It fits so well. It's very heavy, deep tones with the occasional bing, like high key just thrown in there, and I loved it. I think this was a phenomenal score, and I believe I saw that Kubrick didn't score this one himself, but and it loses people there, but I still think this score was great.
Yeah, it was very well used. We had, you know, like the higher tones and things like that when we really needed it the most.
Yep.
I like that it was all piano because we get to know Nick Nightingale a little bit here and there, so it kind of
fit him.
Yeah, kind of like he's playing the score.
Yeah.
So I really liked it. I'm usually not one to listen to the score or like, well, obviously I listen to it because I'm watching the movie, but like not one to like think about it real heavy. But this one, like, because it's usually during a quiet part of the movie where there's lots of things happening and this, that. So you get to hear it. If the score is in the background of the movie and there's like chit chat around it, I'm gonna miss it. But this is definitely a very prominent score. It was great.
For sure. Is there anything else that really stuck out with you in the good?
We already talked about the mask scene.
Yeah.
About finding the mask on the pillow. That's probably my favorite scene towards the end. The ending.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting the ending. I wasn't sure what I was expecting.
Yeah.
So I guess I can't say I wasn't expecting that, but
just another twist.
Yeah.
You know, you think he's leaving Ziegler's house, and they kind of work things out, and then he's home, and the mask's on his pillow.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't sure what to expect with the ending, but it was good. I liked it.
We'll hop over to the meh, and I have a few things in the meh. One kind of, you know, bigger than the other. The one that is really, I'll start with the big one. The big one for me is the way that he is able to flash his medical card and show, you know, just say that I'm a doctor, and it kind of works and gets him into a lot of things. He does it a handful of times, and some of them make sense, like when he goes to the hospital and, you know, he says, I'm a doctor, she's my patient, even though she's not his patient. I mean, I guess at the party he helped her out, but... Yeah. And then he's just, you know, pulled into the morgue, but, like, he flashes to get in the costume store after hours, and he also blows through a lot of money, which, back then, you know, $375 at the costume store... That's a little steep.
Definitely. But obviously he's a doctor.
Yeah.
And have you seen his apartment in New York City? It's as big as our house.
That's fair.
Or bigger, definitely. So he definitely throws around money, which I think is kind of nice. I mean, it's part of him as a, you know, he wants to go do all these things. He got into a situation with the hooker, didn't do anything, but...
He's obviously not budgeting.
No.
But... just the flashing of the medical card like it's a police badge and a handful of times was like, okay, I get it. It's carrying the plot, but figure something else out, you know? The other one that really stuck out to me, you know, I talked about how great the pacing was. At the Eyes Wide Shut party when they're having that opening ceremony, that dragged on a little bit. That's really the only scene where I was like, okay, come on. Not that it didn't fit. It was just like...
We could cut it a little shorter. You could have
cut it a little bit or done it in a different way to, like, still get the point across.
For sure.
That was just one where I was like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you, like, you really don't know what's going on at the time. And so it's kind of weird and confusing. It ends up connecting at the end, but you feel like it could have been.
Yeah. I definitely wasn't sure what to expect during that scene. Now that I think about it, I don't know. I wasn't... Okay, so we got there. and he knew the password, and, he gets in. The thing is that you see nobody else came in after him. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't sure if, that is what he had a target on his back, that he was the last one that came in.
Ziegler
and they also
talks
mentioned
about it,
the taxi.
Yeah, you're the only one that pulled up in a taxi. Everybody else pulled up in limos. Your, in the back, or your jacket that you took off or something, whatever.
There had the receipt
from the costume store. There was, a couple other tells, but Ziegler pointed them all out. And I thought that was really cool, too. That twist with Ziegler and that conversation they have at his house is another really good scene.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
And again, it's just one that connects a lot of the dots. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, overall, we can hop to our final thoughts and rating. Overall, this is a phenomenal film. What do you want to leave off with it, and what do you give it out of 10?
I'm going to leave off by saying that definitely going to have to do a rewatch. Mm-hmm. Just because I want to see if there's any little things we left behind, little Easter eggs or things that we can probably piece together ourselves now.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to do that and see what we can see now that we've already watched it and we know the story. I want to know who that guy is that's standing behind Ziegler while they're masked on the balcony. I want to see if we can figure out
who
that is. If he's anybody, he might not be anybody, but I don't. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anyone. Acting was great. Story, the plot. Like I said, if it's a long movie that kept my attention, it's a pretty good movie. Yeah. So, I'm gonna sit at an 8.5.
Set at 8.5.
Yep.
I'll go 9 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is just another phenomenal notch in the belt as far as direction goes from Stanley Kubrick. And I know, there's that controversy on studio interference, Warner Brothers cutting stuff out after his death, but you can still feel the creative touch Kubrick had on this.
Yeah.
And it's his movie, and it was a great ending to a great career. I loved a lot of this movie. That, like I said, there were some things that I could nitpick on, but I think overall this was just a great film.
Yeah.
And I, as well, would like to rewatch it.
For sure.
Now, knowing how things go, what can we catch before that kind of tells it. But overall, not much complaints from me. And, yeah.
We don't have anything in the bad, so that's good.
Nothing in the bad.
No. Nope. Not very often we don't have anything in the bad. I like it.
For sure. That'll do it for Eyes Wide Shut. Rosie, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me again. I enjoyed this one a lot.
Yes. Thank you for watching. If you like what you're watching, please check out some of these other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links below. And check out Eyes Wide Shut for its 25th anniversary, because why not? Thank you all for watching, and we'll talk to you all soon. Peace.
Peace and love.